The plaza was silent and still, lit only by the fire still burning from Chandra's rampages. A few minutes later than desired, Tezzeret Plains walked in. "You're late," Nicol Bolas said. "Did you doubt?" Tezzeret had served him long enough to know the right answer. "No, Master, I did not doubt. I was delayed." "You defeated them as quickly as you predicted." He glanced around the plaza looking for bodies of planeswalkers that weren't there. "I can seek to find where—" "No, it does not matter. This was better than blood." Tezzeret looked at him quizzically, but he knew he would offer no more explanation. "Master, I should update you on later. Go and tell Ralzelek to come to me. His progress is too slow." Tezzeret hated being used as an errand runner, which is part of why Bolas enjoyed doing it so much. An unbalanced Tezzeret was an effective Tezzeret. Every time he found satisfaction, he quickly became useless. "Go now." Tezzeret bowed his head and disappeared. In the quiet of the night, the first true night on Amonkhet in years, Bolas surveyed the bodies and destruction in the quiet. He had wrought well in his creation 60 years ago. He had wrought well today. The planar bridge was his. The army was ready. The gatewatch was loose in the multiverse. He roared into the night, letting loose a burst of flame from deep in his chest. Much of what Bolas did was performance for an audience, a critical part of his tactics in any engagement. But this roar was for himself. No more shadows, no more skulking, no more hiding. Nicol Bolas, Elder Dragon, Genius, Archmage, Planeswalker, was finally taking his first steps, visibly and openly. Let all tremble now. They will certainly bow later. He lofted the night sky to survey more of the devastation he had wrought. He was, for this moment, content. Well, that is the end of the Hour of Devastation storyline. That ended. Pretty interesting set, I thought. You know, Nicol Bolas is pretty badass. You can just see by his little arms crossed. You know, cross your arms that way unless you're a badass. That's the official badass arm cross. But anyways, I'm going to go in a little bit of analysis on this. And I'm predicting right now that the Nicol Bolas storyline will end in the future. I don't know when. It's going to be a little while, I'm thinking, because they're going to have to build this one up. But this storyline that they're building up to, the climax will be Nicol Bolas versus Ugin. And I think they just teased that in this storyline, back in the Jace section. If you go to Jace, back in the section where Jace is about to planeswalk away, and he tried attacking Nicol Bolas' mind, but he came against that dark obsidian, and he said he had never come across a mind like this, except for a mind as smooth and dazzling as a wall of crystal. But even as the thought entered his mind, it erased itself, and he could not remember where it came from. That line is referencing when he had his little mind battle with Ugin. And I think Ugin planted that in everybody he's come across to forget him. So Nicol Bolas, remember, Nicol Bolas can read someone's mind on a touch. He can basically know everything they never know. And he did that to Ugin 1,280 years ago. And when he killed him, sort of. In the old timeline, he killed him. In the new timeline, Sarkhan saved him. But now that it's all caught up and Ugin's back, I believe Ugin is investigating, trying to find what's going on and tracking him, and Ugin is erasing all of his own footsteps as he goes along by this thing with Jace's mind. He probably did it to Gideon and all those other guys when he saw them on Zendikar after they had killed the two big Eldrazi Titans. I don't know how they're going to do it. I have no prediction on how it's going to be done, the mechanics or anything like that. I just think it's going to be Ugin versus Nicol Bolas. Mostly because Nicol Bolas thought Ugin was a threat and worked to kill him on Tarkir. That whole thing, if you go back and read the storyline in Fate Reforged, Sarkhan went back in time and witnessed the big fight between Ugin and Nicol Bolas. And in it, while he was flying up, At first, it was just Ugin and Nicol Bolas fighting each other. And when it was just that, Ugin had the upper hand. That's, at least in the storyline, that's what it looked like. It looked like Ugin had the upper hand, and Nicol Bolas' spells weren't doing much. And then Ugin had also called for help from all of his dragons, because he's like the progenitor of all dragons on Tarkir. He called for help from all of the dragons, and when they showed up, Nicol Bolas had laid a trap for him, where he had tricked some human into thinking that if they killed Ugin, that the humans of the plane would be free and would be able to control the plane. So he tricked a human wizard or spellcaster of some kind into tricking the minds of the demon into casting a spell over the minds of the dragons, so they all would attack Ugin. Sarkhan felt this at the time, changed back, and was not under that spell. And then he watched the end, as Ugin was nearly killed by Nicol Bolas after being attacked by his own dragons. But I think that's what they're going to. They're going to build up for this Ugin v Nicol Bolas rematch. I think it would be pretty epic if they lured Nicol Bolas back to Tarkir, and Ugin got to confront him with his 5 new Elder Dragon friends. Maybe Sarkhan also. That would be pretty badass. Possibly the Gatewatch would be there too, watching and stuff, I'm sure, or helping. Anyways, that was just my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed reading this or listening to this reading, and see you next time.